Danny, if you bought one of those wish things from
Oh
from
my
a
god,
seemingly
Ray.
reputable dealer, they have other things in there. What would you wish for? Would you throw your wish away just so that I had better internet? So we don't have to keep redoing the intros to shows.
All right, you already wanted
I'm just
to
no,
go
no, no,
there.
unrelated to today's topic.
Related to
Yeah,
the thumbnail and title of the
mm,
video.
sure.
Uh, I mean, you're asking that kind of wish, not like a generic wish.
Yeah, you're not going to use it on world peace or anything ridiculous. Use it on something materialistic.
I mean, according to the lore of the movie, the wish itself is not intrinsically like a trap.
Uh-huh.
That's one of the things I thought was very interesting. That like usually like be careful what to wish for.
Yeah.
Like fairy tale usually is always like you do something that is innocent, but there is a price to pay. That's usually the stereotype, the trope.
It's the law of magic and Buffy. There's it has consequences. All magic has consequences.
But the movie tries to show that actually it's not necessarily that. Like depending on your wish, nothing bad is gonna happen.
I guess so. We only saw the two wishes. We'll talk about the movie in a little bit.
Yeah,
I want to know what
I
to
don't
be
know.
lit. You have the stick. You have the stick. It has to place a little chime.
Like
like with those '90s
I,
birthday cards.
like the world peace and blah blah blah. Like these are kind of stuff that I do think you would have a price to pay
Yeah,
you
the
fall into
aliens
the
would come right
trap.
after. The aliens would come right after, or something
Would
like
be
that.
either aliens or
Hmm. Yeah,
people
yeah.
wouldn't be
You
themselves
wish to
because they're
live. You
trying to
live. You
maintain
wish to live
peace.
forever. You get put in jail for life. It's all.
Like
It's all been said.
I do think that like having like a huge amount of money seems
Hmm.
the safest option. Even though
Oh
like you
no!
can think, yeah,
Somebody wish for $1 billion.
but I also think like would the IRS get involved and stuff like this? So I
It
don't
would.
know.
Yeah, it
I
would get
don't.
involved for sure in America. In Canada, it would not.
Oh my god! Now even 5 minutes into the show, you're already turning political.
No, you guys have to pay taxes on lottery
And
winnings and stuff like
Canada,
that.
Canadians don't have to pay taxes.
Not on lottery wins.
Oh, is actually small parenthesis is betting and casino and stuff like this legal in Canada?
Worked in a casino, yes, 100%. But it's all run by the government, or it's run by
Okay,
Aboriginal
okay.
tribes on their land and stuff like that. They can do that.
Okay.
But yeah,
Because
there's like two casinos here in Winnipeg.
there is a
You know.
huge problem in Brazil, even though I don't live there anymore because of the whole like betting apps and everything. And
Oh yeah, I think they've stopped. They used to. Well, it used to be a whole thing. It's like try and get gambling away from sports as much as you can, and then they just goddamn embrace it so much. Over in England for the Premier League and stuff like that, you see like Bet 888 on for sponsorships and stuff like that on jersey kits, like on the French front of shirts. I think they've done away with that now. I think they said, whoa, 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 this is out of hand. No more betting. Well, not as much. It's all
anyway,
brought to you by the good people here at
I had that question in mind, but I still don't have the answer. Do you have an answer? What do you wish for?
probably internet thing. See those thing do a little spin. It's like, oh, that internet thing sounded not too bad. I'll stick it out. You know what? I'm gonna go with the regular old fashioned internet way the good Lord intended. When he, making the earth and the rain, he made the internet.
God
That's what we're gonna
made
use.
internet.
Well, either that or it was magic. You know
It
what I mean?
wasn't. It was like a military thing that
Wasn't it?
developed after
Wasn't it?
the.
Who's his nuts there? Al Gore? Wasn't it? Didn't Al Gore
Oh my
at
god,
one
this
time
is
take
Al Gore
responsibility?
still
Yeah, he's like,
alive?
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is.
That guy
Because
almost became president, right?
he was within Chad's, they called it, of becoming the president,
Yeah,
supposedly. Yep,
supposedly. According
supposedly.
to Michael Moore, Michael Moore
Ah,
said
good.
that.
Yeah, it was a huge, long. This is where everybody decided this. If you whine enough or whatever, you can almost get what you want. So it's just become culture now.
Anyway, this is getting too political too fast.
Yeah, from 20. What
Anyway,
is it? 26 years ago now. Holy hell! All right.
yeah. Uh, so it's been a while since we were able to tape. Our schedules didn't match this month of July, basically.
Yeah, I hosted a bachelor party last week. Otherwise, wouldn't we would have done it last week?
Yes.
Hosted a bachelor party. Pretty wild, pretty crazy around here. Uh, they all brought computers and played Warcraft. Yeah,
They played World of Warcraft.
yeah,
Really?
I guess they did that when they were wee little wee little fellas here at the house. So they just said, "Well, we're gonna go old school, have Kanya whip them up some food, and then play Warcraft." That's the bachelor. That
Man.
is like the most wholesome bachelor party of all time.
You can tell that like how generational things change
Yeah,
when it comes to bachelor party. I never had one, by the way.
no.
Never had the money for it.
Why would you? You don't even need like these guys didn't have a bachelor party. They just had a get together. This is something as wholesome. He could have had his daughter here for
Actually,
next day, so it would have been
I'm
just
not
fine.
judging. I'll probably like if I would have like a bachelor party, it would be like this. Like there is something to be said about LAN parties. And by the way,
Yeah.
I know you didn't choose this uh because of it, but QuakeCon is next week.
Okay.
And QuakeCon is the one of the biggest, if not the biggest, LAN party in the world.
Is it going to be
Because
a little different now that all the stuff happened over at the Doom Studios you were talking about before?
apparently not. I mean, also these kind of events they are prepared like a year in advance.
Okay.
The thing of like QuakeCon is basically the biggest thing is a LAN party. Like they have the convention center. They have super high speed, ultra quality internet.
I
So
think we've talked about one of these before.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the biggest one unquote attraction is the BYOC, which means bring your own computer. So it's basically a LAN party.
Yeah.
So people travel either by car, by plane. They bring their own computers. They plug in on those high speed internet, and they play games. They don't only play ED software titles like Doom or
Right.
Quake.
Yeah.
Like you can play anything. Like you can, and some people, and now even like they have places where you can bring your own console too. Like it doesn't need anymore to be just a computer. But it began.
Can't you just use your own console at home? Isn't that the whole idea of just playing online? It's just or you just want to be there since so you don't have to type in the trash talk you're going to use. You can actually say it to the guy's face.
And then there are parties too. The other attractions. That's one of the things that I always told Star. That, like I want to go, but I'm not gonna bring my own computer. I want to do everything else. I want to eat with people, have drinks with people. There are some other like fun activities. There's the whole like fundraiser for animal shelters. Like they bring the cats, they bring the dogs. You can play with. Then it's actually a pretty nice place, you know.
Sounds
But
wholesome.
there is something to be said about like how over the years the LAN culture, which was so big in the late 90s and early 2000s, that has disappeared. I remember being a kid and like going to a LAN house to play like video games there on those computers. because the internet sucked, just like jars.
How dare you? So mad.
And it was very fun. In Brazil, there was this whole culture about Counter Strike.
Mm-hmm. That was the game that was in my head, 'cause I remember the kids playing that, and I had to drop off Matt one time at the convention center here because there was a big, bring your computer and be a
Yeah,
nerd with a
it
bunch of other
was.
nerd thing.
And obviously, I was too young to know that, but unfortunately, it was the beginning of the end for what became first person shooters, if you think about, because obviously Doom and then later Quake introduced the whole arena shooting thing. So people very fast, jumping, a lot of guns.
Mm-hmm.
And then Valve released Half Life, is also a huge success. Half Life, by the way, the engine is part of the Quake engine. So for if there's any like huge Valve fans listen to this podcast, like let you know that Half Life and all this other stuff, they exist because Doom exists and then Quake existed. And then the arena shooter kind of start to die gradually. And then that's when you see like the rise of, Battlefield and Call of Duty. Even though like we can agree that like Call of Duty really exploded when Modern Warfare came out.
I was going to talk a little bit about Call of Duty too, because we've also talked about games going dead before. So they bring back Black Ops and Black Ops 2. Very exciting. A lot of people are pissed off with the way that COD has been playing lately. All the double jumping. The worst thing they ever did was that Advanced Warfare stuff. The sliding, all this other stuff, just jumping around to miss bullets, which is this thing that drives me the craziest in the world. So they bring back like just the true Black Ops and Black Ops 2.
It's like a
They,
remaster.
I guess so, but they haven't changed anything. Like you can only have
I mean,
one or two tops attachments in the first one and stuff like that. And I was talking with Aunt Nuge about it, and he's a big fan of it coming out. I went and got the two, of course, when I saw their. I had never heard that they were redoing it.
okay, they are not remastered. They are like they are port. They are
Right. Yeah. So I don't know what the. I guess that means that you could just play them on the PlayStation 5 now.
yeah. So to explain to you and to other people that don't know the difference, a port is basically you make the game as it is being playful in a different hardware.
Right.
And that has existed since forever. For instance, yes, I'm gonna use Doom again as an example. Doom was released for what was the first place that Doom released?
Pong.
No. Hardware.
Uh,
Think of hardware.
uh, like I don't know, like Windows,
No.
MS DOS.
MS DOS.
There you go.
I mean,
Are you
DOS.
happy I got it at least on my
It did.
second attempt?
Microsoft didn't was still beginning. By the way,
Mhm.
the fun anecdotal fact about gaming.
Okay.
They're one of the founders of Valve, which is the CEO to this day, Gabe Newell, the guy that runs Steam and everything. He in the 90s he worked for Microsoft, and they discovered that Windows was losing to Doom in terms of a software being installed in a computer in America for like a huge margin.
Really?
Yes.
Is this when they come up with Windows 98?
No, that's when it came out in 95.
Oh, Windows 95. Whoa.
That's
I just
why.
remember. I remember Windows 98.
Because
Windows 95.
already a
I'm sure I remember.
multi-million-dollar company because they are already like a huge company back
Yep.
then. They are losing to a small gaming studio in Mesquite, Texas. There was like 14 people at most by that time in '94. 93, 94, I think it was like about 12
Mm-hmm.
maybe. Crazy, huh? Anyway, we do not
They should have had Doom come out
support.
installed on computers already, like Windows said. Just think what would happen.
A lot of people
Bill Gates would be homeless right
actually, a
now.
lot of retailers did that actually because when
Okay, just put
95
it right
came
on there.
out, when Windows 95 came out, there was a port called Doom 95, which would make your game being playable on Windows 95 without having to emulate DOS.
Right.
But most Windows at that time they had like the MS DOS with it. I think you remember that. The MS
I worked
DOS.
I worked at a place in 2003, and they were still running MS DOS on their computers. So, oh yeah, I
There's
remember.
few places there still runs MS DOS.
Oh yes, it was
More
just
than people to realize.
it was a
Anyway,
plumbing electrical warehouse. What I don't know. It was just for bringing stock in and out to the
uh,
track, but you didn't need much more than that.
so basically, a port is making the software being playable in a piece of hardware. So Doom came out for MS DOS, but they had a version for the Atari Jaguar. They had a version
Yeah.
for the Super Nintendo. They had a version for the 3DO. Blah blah blah.
Doom was on Super Nintendo.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, sometimes a port does come with changes. Like so, for instance, I think Doom, there is like a difference like in the gore and the blood during the game, or even some like levels had to be altered to be smaller to fit into the cartridge. Some
Right.
ISO changes, but usually a port that's how it works. It's usually the reproduction of the game in your software or a small change for new hardware or small change for new hardware. Basically, that's what a port is. A remaster technically would be the same game, but with updates.
Right. So
Quality
the
of life
ability to do
upgrade.
the double jumping and the sliding and stuff like that, if they would have added that, that would have been
Yeah,
remaster.
but usually, but it can be a lot of things. Like a remaster can be just like newer textures to even running a newer engine. You probably have heard that one of the remasters that have been very successful. Uh, Speaking about like the whole Microsoft ecosystem was the re-release of Elder Scrolls 4
Okay.
Oblivion. So there is as Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim that very
I've heard
huge.
of all these games, of course. I don't think I ever played them, but
Yeah, they are RPGs. They're basically RPGs, single player RPGs,
uh-huh.
which you can also be both first person, third person at the same time. You can switch. And they re-release Elder Scrolls 4, but it was running on the Unreal Engine. So they basically combined the original engine of the game, which is called Creation Engine, and they also made it run on Unreal 5. So they have this huge graphical update. So a lot of times remasters tries to have a graphical update, but trying to keep the gameplay the same. Sometimes keeping the gameplay the same, like the way that you play Doom on your PlayStation. That's basically the original gameplay of Doom, but with some quality of life changes that
And
you can like to go.
it took that long to get perfected. Let's just say that as soon as I got behind the controls.
And the
I was like,
remake technically is a new game, but reusing the same concept, the same story of
yeah,
previous.
yeah. This is definitely important. It feels the exact same. The music the exact same. Everything's the exact same, which led to trouble for me with it because it just to me plays so slow now. It plays incredibly slow to me. Like I was like, I don't know if it's a thing. Like I used to like think back to the first couple of Black Ops. Oh, they were so much fun. I saw they were coming out. It's like, yes, thank God, we're gonna have a great time. Put it on. It's like, oh, it doesn't help that as soon as it came on, like all the cheaters came back and like everybody was zoomed up like 100% and like in levels 100 and stuff like that. Like it's craziness. So that didn't help. But just like having the one attachment on your gun, having the having to learn how to throw a grenade again because it's totally different in the first Black Ops, especially as it is to what it is now, is Black Ops 7 and stuff like that. The way you throw it, it's all different. It takes a little bit, and I was getting a little angry. It's like at myself just for putting the expectations up this high. Now that I played it a little bit, and it's not going to feel the same. The guns sound different when you get hit and stuff like that. It's the time to kill way faster. It seems on the old games. So you just stuff you have to get used to while playing again. That's
Yeah.
it.
Also, we have to always be careful with nostalgia.
Yes,
A
one hundred
lot of
percent.
times, older
As
things,
I have like that
I mean, especially you,
Meatloaf,
usually people remember things
Superman, and
more
you know,
fondly than what they actually were.
yeah,
But argue like I have you as a Doom fan. I obviously have all my criticism towards Call of Duty as a franchise, but there is an argument to be said, and we had talked about this that the true golden age, the true peak of Call of Duty was when first Modern Warfare came out, then they
yep,
did World at War, then they did Modern Warfare 2, then Black Ops, and then depending where you go, that peak either finishes when Modern Warfare 3 comes out or Black Ops 2 comes out.
right.
Usually, but
I think
around
it's
that
a
time,
Black Ops 2. After Black Ops 2, kind of.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, after that, it's Ghost. Like we can all agree that when once Ghost comes out, like the franchise tries to get back. Sometimes they have some successes, but it hasn't felt the same ever since. And the problem is the whole early release strategy. It burns
yeah.
people out.
I've I was thinking about that myself. Like I took off. I didn't play Black Ops 6 last year. I played started again this year, got Black Ops 7. It's at the end of its cycle. The next game coming out, I believe, is Modern Warfare 4. It's coming out in October. I'm not playing it. Last time when I stopped playing, I played a few extra games that I hadn't played yet that I was excited to play. Like I finally played the God of War, the Nordic version and stuff like that of God of War, which was a lot of fun. I haven't played God of War 2 yet even, so I want to do that after this cycle's done. I got that Star Wars Outlaws game. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's any good or not, but I'm gonna give it a try. And then, of course, I played
I
the Hogwarts, which is awesome. Like the Hogwarts game was incredible.
Yeah, I have a version for my Switch that I never touched yet too. In terms of the Star Wars game, it depends. Like I heard mixed things. That have some people didn't like that much. Some people said it's good. It's trying to be like a GTA but on Star Wars.
Yeah, fine. You get to shoot a
But I
Greedo.
haven't
That's
played.
fine by me. A
But the
Walrus
state,
man. I don't
but
know if you
this
do.
ever since Disney, but like the state of Star Wars games is very depressing.
We went through every single Star Wars game before.
Yes.
I'm still waiting. Like I still think of that trailer for that Eclipse game. Like you think,
I
when
think
is
that
this
is
coming?
canceled.
It
The game
has to
has
be,
a
right?
lot of that
By
studio
this
has a
by
lot of.
this time, it has. There's no way.
They
But it was so
also
cool. Those guys, the drums and stuff like that was awesome looking. We're not gonna get it
they
because that.
somewhat recently they released the trailer for Fate of the Republic, which is kind of a newer is for what I understood was as spiritual successor to Knights of the Republic.
Okay, sure.
But I don't know. That can mean a lot of things. Maybe they're trying to redo the story, but using now within the
Because
canon.
they quit. They were gonna do the remake of Knights of the Old Republic, right? And they stopped making it halfway through or a quarter of the way through or something like that. They
Thank God,
canceled it.
because it's what Aspir that was supposedly going to do it, and they
They're a bunch of jerks.
They were the
Listen
ones
up.
that did the remake for Battlefront 2. Remember the
Oh yeah.
classic? Yeah, the
Hmm.
same people. So yeah. No. But yeah, I don't want to be depressed talking about Star Wars game. Just to say, like, obviously, Call of Duty is still going to sell. It's still going to make
Oh yeah. It'll
money.
yeah. It's a again. It's gonna probably be one of the top games of Christmas
But,
titles.
there's something to be said that, like, we're in 2026.
Yeah.
So when the modern trilogy of Doom began, Doom 2016 came out. We had Doom 2016, then 2020 we had Doom Eternal. Then throughout 2020 and 2020 we had the two DLCs of Doom Eternal. Last year, Doom the Dark Ages came out, and then
Coming up, you got Doom, Doom, Doom. Let's go back to my room. That's gonna be coming up very soon.
we had the DLC for Doom which I played, yeah, in the early this month,
Oh, okay.
which is probably their best work, which it makes
Mm.
the whole Microsoft stuff sucks even more. But that subject we should have it should be its own episode. We might do it.
We will definitely talk about Doom very soon here.
But there's something to be said that, like, yeah, the only way why Call of Duty is able to do earlier release is because they have like three studios
Yeah.
that do they're the main development.
Raven, Treyarch, and one other one I can't remember.
Infinite Ward. Valve counting the support studios as well. They also have mini studios that also help with the development of this.
Sure.
But I think entertainment now as a whole, and it applies to movies and it does apply to games as well. And even like you can even talk about like music and stuff, culture in general.
Okay.
I think nowadays you really have to nail down the familiarity at the same time the innovation. I think cultural wise, that's been kind of the trick. If you think about it, I do think what made those Doom games great for me and for a lot of people is like it still is Doom. It's still like you killing demons with a shotgun.
Yes.
And using a chainsaw.
I'm pretty amazing at it.
But every single game brought something new to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was very easy for them to just do the same thing. The best Marvel movies are the ones that honor the source material, but also bring something new to the table. Like people still talk about how great Winter Soldier the movie was, because it was very Captain America. It was very deep into Marvel
classic villain.
Yeah, but at the same time, it did bring something new to the table, like going deep into the whole like political conspiracy.
It showed that you can adapt comic book movies to different styles of genres, and I think that's why people got very excited for having a horror movie in the SU, which we still really haven't gotten.
Star Wars, even though it's a
spy
shit
movie,
show,
right?
And it's been a shit show for a while. Why Andor was such a huge success was still Star Wars, but maybe Andor is not the best example because I do think
you were saying hit. You were saying hit show, right?
Yeah, being a hit.
Okay. Because sometimes the Brazilian accent is a little thick. Sometimes you think more. You were saying maybe it was a shit show. And it was like a shit show. A shit show. It's like which one? And then you say Andor. And I said Andor was a shit show.
No.
Like, oh no! I hit show.
But like, no, Andor is very Star Wars in some aspects, but I think of all the things that Disney's done, is the one that tries to go away more because of Tony Gilroy.
More ground. It's a more grounded Star Wars.
But in the end, I did think that
it's more like a war movie. That was the whole thing about Rogue One too. They said we're going to put the wars in Star Wars. This is a war movie. So it's like, yeah, and then they just brought the espionage into it for the TV series. It's fantastic.
And I and maybe this is a great segue to the main topic. I think
Maybe.
nowadays, yes, I think nostalgia is a problem right now in our culture because everything has to be a franchise.
Hmm.
Everything has to be a big IP. We all feel like there's like a death of like original content, even though it does pop time to time. Something does go like very mainstream that didn't exist before.
Hmm.
But even those things, and now we can segue to start talking about the movie. They still are playing with these two concepts. Like you're you're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You're not trying to be 100%. This has never been done before. Also, you can argue that this is like just a nonsense of common sense. Think like originality, something that really truly exists.
Yeah.
But you bring a sense of familiarity, but you also try to tie that familiarity with something new, and that's what seem apparently is what making more success is the familiarity plus innovation, not just familiarity and nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia, but it's also not too disruptive to try, or maybe sometimes too arrogant to think, oh, this is so new, this has never been done before, you know.
Right.
And I think obsession and its gigantic, insanely financial success
Hmm.
is an example of that. So you watch the show, or you watch the movie.
I watched the movie.
You're not a huge horror guy.
No, not any. Well, when I was a kid and stuff like that, yes, like monster movies, including like the monster horror movies, the Jasons of them all, and Freddy. I was a big Freddy fan when I was a little kid and stuff like that. Those were fine. I like those. Those are basically comic book movies. Uh, what else? Like I was watching the It's and stuff like that. They're fine. Stuff that I was a kid. All those kind of Italian kind of weird zombie stuff I was all into when I was a kid. And there just came a time that I just started not watching horror. It wasn't, like I said, no, I don't want to. But then they started coming out with the paranormal activities and stuff like that came out. I didn't see it and stuff like that, and people are getting they're like trying to make it real and stuff like that. They're thinking it's like, yeah, it's just whatever.
The whole
Then they
family.
started going into the Insidious and everything, all those kind of movies. It's like that's just not. I just don't see myself wanting to watch that kind of movie. Like I want to spend 90 minutes to 2 hours, being creeped out like this. Like there's I would. What would I be able to laugh at? Like at least with the Jason movies, the Freddy movies, there's always a little bit where I'm gonna be able to laugh out loud at something. There is something about this in Obsession, which yeah, we'll talk about that and stuff like that. But for the most of it, and I have for me, I know that you really liked it. For me, I didn't find it scary at all. Um, even I'm supposed to find it more disturbing, possibly than scary. I really didn't. I think there's some things that I thought would have worked better. But I'm sitting here in a basement talking about it, not doing it. So yeah, we'll talk about all of those things when it comes to the movie. But I
So
know,
you didn't
but
like
watching,
it.
but what
Mhm.
I liked it.
You
No, no,
like
no,
it.
I liked it. But yeah, for it to work better for me, there
Yeah.
would have had to have been a couple of things. But yeah, it was good. Like it was enjoyable. I sure wanted to see that main character get killed. Like every time I saw him, like I did not root. I did not root for the supposed hero of this story. That's for sure.
I don't think he's supposed to
Yeah, I
be.
don't know. Yeah, I think it's more the antagonist than anything else.
Exactly. Look, horror, I think in general, like I'm not the hugest horror fan either. More like
Hmm.
because of not really giving time to watch, not because I have problem with the horror genre. Star likes more than me.
Sure.
And I think more because like the fun of being scared or the fun of being disturbing. The thing is, I think horror is the most clear of the cycles that the industry tries to go through. So usually, and this happened many times before, and happens with all the other genres. We can be talking about the problem with superheroes. It's
Yep.
going kind of towards that cycle too. That happened with Western. That happened with
We'll see.
Noir films.
Yep.
Which is basically there is mo- a style of horror gets success, gets both critical and public acclamation and also financial success. So the industry like, just like let's make like 100 more of these, and each time you try to redo it, it loses quality, loses innovation, loses everything. Like that happened with this slasher genre.
Yeah.
Your Jason, your
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger.
Those things petered out real quick in the 90s.
Then the same thing happened with the found footage, like Paranormal Activity. Even though
Well,
technically
Blair Witch,
Blair Witch
which would
was,
be the thing that you'd probably be able to equate most to Obsession, though, right? The little indie movie that made an incredible amount of money. It's gonna probably do a whole bunch of clones. There's gonna be a whole bunch of things that are gonna be like it. They're gonna make an Obsession 2 somehow, and it's gonna be made with a ton more money, and it's not gonna feel the same or look the same, and people aren't gonna buy it.
and then now then you
Just
have
don't
like
touch
this,
Obsession. You want to bring everybody back and do something else? Do that. Don't do Obsession. Do whatever you do. Let's
yeah.
just sell the rights.
And then you have the whole like indie renaissance with like Jordan Peele coming back.
As
And
indie as you can say.
as
A
indie as
movie
you can say,
directed
it's
by
not that.
Jordan Peele and starring
Yeah,
the guy from West Wing and stuff like
yeah,
that. It's
yeah,
gonna be.
yeah. But like there's like the mainstream indie, and then there's the true indie. Like Obsession is the
Yeah,
true indie, is the
yeah,
true
for sure.
independent movie.
Yeah, I
Uh,
looked up a little bit, and you told me about it. Like this film being made for $750,000 in 2025 and taking 20 days to do it. Congratulations to him. All the
by a
success in the world
guy
to
that
him.
started his
Thank God.
career as a YouTuber,
Yeah.
which
Now, I thought that he actually was the guy who was Baron in the
in the
movie, and
movie.
he's not.
No, he's not in
It
the
was
movie.
some other guy.
Which is funny because it's the tech chronologically speaking, is the second movie of the year, horror movie of the year that is made by a YouTuber. First we
Is that
had
Backrooms? Is that one as well?
Markiplier's Iron Lung.
Aaron Lung. Okay, I don't know about that one at all.
Markiplier, based upon the video game Iron Lung, made by David Zamansky, with the soundtrack of Andrew Hochschild, that is one of the composers for Doom. A huge Doom guy, by the way.
Well,
The soundtrack you hear on the port for Doom on the PlayStation, you can choose either the original MIDI version or the MP3. That's from Andrew. Then you got Obsession, which technically is from last year. It was in festivals last year, but it was released commercially
yeah,
this
started off
year.
at the
And
TIFF
now,
festival. I heard about that too.
and then now Backrooms, that is also like a huge viral YouTube series. So like it's the third horror movie made by a YouTuber, which begs the question that like now you can really say that like YouTuber is like a subclass, a second class type of creator. No, you can start your creative career on YouTube and go to the more prestige medias
You already
and
have
do
the
well.
eyes. That's one thing. If you're successful on YouTube, you have a built-in audience, and that's a huge deal.
Yeah,
Rather than coming just
I mean
from,
you
like,
still need
say how
to.
Kevin Smith working in a convenience store, and watching movies all the time from the rentals and stuff like that, and then going on to do
Yeah,
movies.
that has same happened with Tarantino. Like
Yeah, well,
the
yeah, yeah.
so, but earlier, like I obviously that doesn't exist as much, but like years ago, like people would say, ah, this guy is just like a YouTuber. He's just like creates videos for YouTube. He's not a real creator. And obviously, you still need to know your shit. You still need to build
I
your
hate that
talent.
he's not a real creator. He created something. It's real. What are you talking about? It's like those
But
people that
just
tell
to
actors or whatever comedians to go and back to entertaining us and don't tell us your opinions on stuff. It's like, who the hell are you? Like, go back to doing his fries or something like that.
but just
Ridiculous stuff
to
like that.
close in on the horror psycho talk, the generic
Mm,
genre talk.
yeah.
So I think horror is the most obvious one of the psychos that are being most affected by corporate greed than other genres. Not saying that doesn't happen with the other genres, but I think horror, that's the one that is the most obvious, the most transparent. Horror also has always been the outcast. Like even in the
But it's pretty successful though, right? Like
it is
most horror movies make
successful,
money.
but you don't see horror movies gaining Oscars. You don't
Mm.
see horror movies being studied most more on universities, which is kind of funny because usually it is within the horror genre where a lot of the innovation
I was thinking the
of
same thing. Yeah,
cinema comes.
sure.
Like for me, one of the best directors of movies
Horror
is
and pornography. That's where the innovation comes from.
for me one of the directors, best directors ever to exist is Dario Argento, which is
Sure.
an Italian filmmaker,
Yep.
and most of his movies are horror movies, like Suspiria. It's one of the best movies I ever saw. The original one, not the remake. They made an American remake, like
Do you remember
20 years
who?
ago.
Do you remember who did the soundtrack for the remake?
Yes.
Tom York. Tom York did it.
Yeah, and the original one was made by Goblin.
Right.
Uh, look, and you can say like the cultural phenomenon of like an exorcist, for instance,
Yep.
and things like that. Oh, I have never been a big fan of the more gore subgenre like Saw,
Right.
like the whole
Yes.
like
Yeah.
torture,
Yeah. What do they call that? It's like it's almost like gore porn or something like that.
torture.
Where it's just like I saw the first Saw movie in Sweden on a computer. It was not great. Like for me, it's like this isn't the kind of stuff that I would appreciate to watch. And then it came out with the worst of like that one that's a hostel. And so yeah, I have no interest at all ever in seeing stuff like that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Horror can be a lot of things. Like, does a horror movie doesn't need to scare you, and I sometimes think the whole scare, like jump scare thing, is the most like boring part.
Yeah.
And now maybe you should take a break now,
Mhm.
and then because if I go beyond this point now, we go to a deep dive into the movie and why I think is a huge success. So, what do you think?
I think we'll be back after these important messages.
So just to get mentioned, like we did not previously agreed to have the same kind of shirt.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. What do you mean? I got a memo. Said, listen, here on the podcast, we are going to have a dress code and uniform. If you don't wear it, you're going to be docked your pay for the day.
Using blue
Yeah, we're going to go light blue polos, guys. Light blue polos.
It's more like I haven't done my laundry yet, and I didn't have that many options. Swear.
Oh, I was going to say I only have 4 shirts. So here we
Anyway,
go.
Let's. So tying into the previous conversation, I'll nail it down to obsession.
Yep.
That movie is a huge success. A success that we haven't seen.
It was a success before it even got, put out in the theaters. And stuff
It
like
was
that.
a huge success in festival. That's usually not like uncommon. There's a lot of great.
The amount of money it got. was uncommon. There's a
Like
bidding
one
war.
of
It was
my favorite
15
movies
million bucks, 15 million bucks just for the
is
right.
Lad and Rate
Crazy.
coming in. I told you,
Was
Lad
that?
try one in
Oh, sure, yeah. That's right.
from Thomas of Fredson. That was a huge success in festivals. It won tons of awards in different festivals in the world. Even though, or I think most of them are not like huge, like well known, but it's still a huge amount of
Mm-hmm.
awards.
Yeah.
But it didn't have the financial. It had a financial success, but it didn't. Like Matt Reeves ended up fucking remaking that shit.
Yeah.
But it didn't have that.
That was Matt
huge-
Reeves that did that?
Yes.
Yeah. There you
Now the Batman guy.
go. Mm-hmm.
Look, I like Batman, Matt Reeves Batman, by the way, but
That's one.
I don't mind as much the Let Me In the remake. I just think it does. He missed he misses the point in a lot of stuff that the original has. Anyway,
I didn't see the remake.
uh, horror. There are three reasons why I do think Obsession is a success, both critically and financially. Uh, the first one, tying to our previous conversation, is because once again, horror is the genre where you really have a potential of creativity that usually other realms doesn't allow you to. Why? When you want to be an artist, regardless of the art form you want to, uh, develop your craft, usually on the realm of the philosophy of art, and that's how you study and understand art in general, the study of aesthetics. Usually you have three categories, three realms where you can play. One is the most common one, is the study of beauty. Not you.
What? How dare you? How friggin' dare
That's
you?
the most common sense one. That's why a lot of people think like real common sense when people talk about aesthetics. They are usually using almost as a synonym of like being beautiful. Oh, the guy had a good sense of aesthetic. That's why everything's so beautiful, so well made, so well composed, blah blah blah. The light, the colors. Usually in the realm of aesthetics, the study of beauty is like what makes something beautiful. Basically, that's all it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
Like why that color usage is pleasant, why those forms are pleasant, why that symmetry is pleasant, is the realm of the manipulation of materials to create pleasantry.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite of that is the realm of the grotesque. And there is a historical reason why it's called grotesque. And
French.
basically, kind of, yeah, like it has to do like with drawings and image the images that happen like in catacombs and stuff like this.
That's French.
Groots. I think they're called groots. That's why it's grotesque.
Oh.
Like, and it's usually the. And by the way, even though we common sense makes us think that grotesque necessarily means something bad, not necessarily like a parody,
Mm-hmm.
like a draw that there's like a parody. It is in the realm of grotesque. Like you could say that like The Simpsons, which is a comedy, is more within the realm of grotesque. They're not trying to make The Simpsons beautiful, but
Oh, I
they're
see.
trying
I
to
see. Okay. Sure.
manipulate things to. So even though sometimes we have this idea is the direct opposite of the unpleasantry, not necessarily to cause unpleasantness. And then there's the realm of sublime, which is the most difficult one to understand. Usually, sublime is the realm of trying to understand, having the sensation that is both beautiful but terrifying and creates a sense that you of something bigger than yourself.
Okay.
So if you watch a footage of a bomb and you see people dying, evaporating of a bomb, or like a volcano exploding or a tsunami, like those kind of things, they are very. It's not beautiful.
I don't know if I'm concerned that you're busy watching
No,
bomb
no,
things
I'm
where people get
explaining what
evaporated.
sublime is,
Okay.
motherfucker.
Okay. All right.
So sublime
And
is
it's
that
not just a
sensation.
crappy pot band from California.
No, no, no. Sublime is basically that sensation that you have of experience those things. They're so much bigger that your brain can't really comprehend. That is like there is a beauty in the grandness of the thing, but at the same time, it's very terrifying. So sublime, like I said, sublime is the realm of aesthetics that's most difficult to understand. But it's that kind of sensation, the sensation of
Okay.
something that is way bigger than yourself.
Sure.
Like imagine if you're like stranded in space, like you're floating in the middle of space. Like it's both
Like
grandiose, like look,
like
it's the
Major
universe.
just like Major Tom?
Yeah, like Major Sound.
Am I thinking Space Oddity is sublime?
But you're
I
watching
think that's what you're saying.
someone. But no, because you're watching someone being like that. I'm telling you, being in that situation, the sensation that you would have in that situation.
Danny, planet Earth is blue. There's nothing I can do.
It how this ties into to
Obsession.
obsession. Basically, all horror movies they work in the realm of
Grotesque.
grotesque. Yeah, got it
Look
right.
who's paying attention.
Yeah, you're paying attention. And the thing that horror allows us to do is that we can talk about things that are like we can talk about the bad side of you. So we can showcase with no. I mean, there are obviously more. There are some limits, ethical limits, but it allows us to talk about how rotten we are.
Okay. Get introspective on the dark side of our own
Yeah.
humanity.
And a lot of times it does in a moralistic way. Even the way that you just said, oh, it's the dark side, it's the bad side, it's the
Mm-hmm.
no, it's something to be discussed and stripped away and cleaned. And Scream, the first Scream, actually showcase like how much of this is a goddamn trope. It's always like, oh, we gonna punish people for being rotten. So we're gonna put the horny teenagers in a summer camp, and we're gonna kill them because they're horny, and it shouldn't be horny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole speech that Scream does it and does it as a parody, so it's grotesque talk. It's even more grotesque because it's parodying the grotesqueness of the genre,
Okay.
things like this. And Obsession do the same thing, but it tries to not be moralistic, even though it's very hard in a horror movie for you to not be moralistic,
Right.
but tries to be ethical. So how does it does? Because people sometimes confuses morality with ethics.
Okay.
Morality is a lot about right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Ethics is behavior and concepts and view of the world towards life. Life is the center, like how you behave towards life and life as a phenomenon, not just your life, but like all life. That's it is what the realm of ethics. works.
Okay. All right.
So that's why for a lot of people, being a vegan is not a matter of taste or food, it's a behavior
Yes.
towards animal life. Like there are a lot of vegans that might not even like that might like meat, the taste of meat. They might even like don't like as much vegan food, but they are still vegan because that's their ethical their that's their own ethical
Yeah, their
stance.
ethics. Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Obsession works on the realm of ethics because the premise is simply as is the cautionary tale of be careful what you reach for, but it starts from the very trivial, the most trivial thing, which is like infatuation, like love, everybody. And the movie does a good work in the first like beginning of that movie before the wish happens.
All right.
The movie tries to make you somewhat sympathetic with the main protagonist.
Hmm.
Like he tries to like that's why they kill a goddamn cat in the first 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would argue if you're a real human being, you would also suffer once your pet dies.
If I was a
That's a
real human
very
being, I wouldn't go out to have drinks with my buddies because my cat died. Because you like a girl that you could have said this to 100
yes.
times.
But so the movie does it does an effort to make the guy relatable. Like, okay, he likes the girl, the cat just died, but also creates because it's a horror movie a sense that there's something wrong with him even before
Yes,
anything
there's something wrong
happens.
with him. There's something wrong with him.
But the movie does this. It works this duality very well. The same way there is something off about this the guy. He's also very human. He lost his grandma not that long ago. The movie established that. Now he just lost his cat. He's lonely. He, in his
I would
mind,
say socially awkward, even though he has friends.
socially
He does not
awkward.
pick up on social cues at all, it seems.
And also, like the whole trope of unrequited love. It's everybody.
But this is one of the things that makes me so mad, Danny.
What?
Was it unrequited? He has a chance. She opens the door.
A lot.
He still goes, no, no, no.
So.
This is what drives me nuts about it.
Yeah. That's one of the things that are using that.
Yeah, like she says, like, is there anything you want to say to me? Like she is there doing it. He's like, no. He gets all weirded out, and then as soon as he does this thing, and then we'll get into that part.
Actually, a lot of people debated this once the movie came out. Was there something there or not? And that's not the point.
No.
That's not the point of the movie. The point of the movie is not for us to have an endless debate that before bear right made a wish, before he made the wish there was something between them or not.
There may
The movie that's one of the
there
that's
could
one of
have been.
the ambiguity is the point. That's
Right.
what makes it so extremely good. Because when you experience the ambiguity watching the movie, that's the ambiguity of the character. Is the most, like people say, show don't tell. That is the mastery of show don't tell. You using the cinematic language, you create on the viewer the same sensation, the same aesthetic experience that the characters having. Because a lot of people came out of the movie and said, of course, this girl never, ever, ever was into this guy. And there are a lot of people
I think she may have been.
that are now obviously there was something between them. He was not just imagining out of his ass. The matter of fact that there is a debate, there are people that came out of that movie thinking two opposite things shows the mastery of the filmmaking part, because
Okay.
the point is that it is ambiguous,
Yep.
and he operates, and the character operates within that ambiguity. Because at the end of the day, we're never gonna know the true answer of that, and that's
Right.
the fun of it. We can. I lean towards more no.
Right. That she wasn't interested in him.
I think the movie creates more evidence than not than yes, but at the
I don't.
same
Yeah,
time,
but I get the. I'm thinking is it's just in that moment, just in that moment when like she's looks like she's inviting him into her house, and he says no. Like at that moment, I think she's up for it because you're gonna find out. Maybe she's up for a little
but
dalliance every once in a
regardless
while.
of if it is or not, that's not the point. The point is it's purposely ambiguous.
Yeah.
Because the point of the movie is that, like, obviously, this guy doesn't know what love is. Also, because
No, that's true. That's true.
love is such a complex thing, anyway.
Yep.
But we all know, and this is something that, as people get older, we learn to experience. Unless you're a guy like Bear, that love, it's not necessarily just effectuation. There's a lot of things in play that comes in terms of friendship, of companionship, of self-sacrifice, but at the same time respecting oneself. Love is very complex. We're not gonna have a whole
Yeah.
episode about love.
Yeah. No, we're no, 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 no. In the next 20 minutes, we're gonna figure out something that they haven't done since recorded time began.
No.
We will tell you exactly what love is in about 20 or so minutes. And congratulations to us for doing it because we are the biggest philosophers.
But the important thing is that for him, that is love. We all know that that's not love.
Yeah.
And the fun thing, the movie also is very ambiguous about how much, for how long this guy has been in love with this girl.
Yeah, pining.
Like in the beginning of the
let's
movie,
I wouldn't say in love with her, but pining for her.
like in the beginning of this, it kind of makes sense that she's been like a childhood crush for years. But there are moments of this movie, like if you look up like his Chat GPT tab on his computer, he only started like asking Chat GPT on how to flirt and everything like 2 months prior to the events of the movie. So it's very recent.
Yeah.
So that's why the movie
Do people
works.
do that? Do people ask the AI how to flirt now?
You ask younger people now.
Wow.
I think it's more common now than we believe.
Probably.
But regardless of being AI or not, it's like it's very common, it's very trivial, and that's the point that young adults, well, teenagers, but in this case, young adults, they are all adults in that movie,
Yep.
even though not for long, not for that long. It's very common that you have social hurdles that can be very annoying. I know dudes that are like almost in their 40s that didn't get like their personal love life together. Very common. That's why a lot of people say, "Oh,
this is playing Doom."
Maybe. No, actually, most people that play Doom, they're way more normal than. But you can agree with me that this whole. I know that some people say, "Oh, this is a movie. It's about the deconstruction of the nice guy trope, like the Ted Mosbys of the world, like for."
Okay. I think Ted Mosby is a good guy.
It is a cautionary tale about incels and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that I think those kind of interpretations and analysis of the movies are necessarily wrong, but I don't think it's the point. I think the point is not to. Again, that's why this movie is not a moralist.
Right.
There is no male role in this movie that this movie says it is good. The protagonist, it is the darker version, you'd say, of the nice guy.
Hmm.
But his friend is also goddamn piece of shit.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, excuse me, 1 second, Mister, because Andy Richter's in this movie, and he is a good man. I think he.
Yeah, but he's not really a
Although he seems
character.
well, his place is definitely made up. That's where everybody knows each other. I'll say this for a small little mom and pop music store. He sure has an awful lot of employees. There is
Yes.
a lot going on in
But
that
like,
little mom and pop store. He must be
but
very
but
successful.
because he's not really a character in the movie, that's why I don't consider. But like, there are only two guys, the bear
Yeah,
and
yeah,
his
yeah,
friend,
yeah, yeah. Yep, sure.
and both of them are once again they are not. The movie is not saying, "Hey, girls, be careful of the nice guy. Maybe you should have like this stereotypical jock that treats you
With shit.
better because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
better. At least it's on." No, no. The movie shows that they both are pieces of shit.
Yep.
The point of the movie is that all the setting of this movie is, and this is part of it, how why it works so good. It is extremely trivial and realistic. This movie only has one supernatural element, which it is the wish. That obviously within this wish,
There's
there are
two.
more. What would be the other supernatural?
The other wish.
The other wish. Okay, the other wish.
Yeah.
But everything else is pretty much normal. And that's why I think the movie makes extremely works extremely well because all these characters are extremely relatable, are extremely real, are extremely trivial. The girl that it is extroverted, and the guy that is more introverted, the guy that is more jockey, the artistic girl that wants to be a tattoo artist that actually has a crush on Mr. Mix. Everything you can find
Yeah.
this in the real world. And by the way, the movie it's not trying even to put a gender on it. You have girls that are more like Barry. You have guys that are more like I forgot her blanking on the name.
Nikki?
Nikki, yeah. They're like Nikki. And that's where the terror, the horror of this horror movie lies. All of this,
The relatability is what
the reliability is that all of this, even what happens after there is the supernatural element introduced, is real. You have girls and guys.
Mhm.
They're like the other Nick. You have. There's a whole stereotypical trope in movies and TV shows about the crazy ex girlfriend
Sure.
or exaggerated, uh, exaggerated characters of like borderline personality disorder. But you don't need to have like even a diagnosis for that. Like there are people that don't have, and they're like Nikki. There are a bunch of guys. They're like Bear. There are a bunch of girls. They're like Bear.
Sure.
There are a bunch of guys and
Too afraid to make the
girls.
first move or accept even the slightest bit of the door being open, even a crack or whatever. That they err on the side of saving themselves any kind of embarrassment or hurt. Sure, I get it.
And that's what makes it everything so terrifying. That and that's what the part where we can It's a way for us to look at ourselves. That's where the real cautionary part of the movie comes. It's not like about wishing, like, oh,
No, no, no.
I wish that she loved me more than anything else in the fucking world or whatever he says.
Yeah,
It's more like, hey, person that is watching the movie, you there, regardless of your age, gender, where you're from, blah, blah, blah. If you don't put your shit together, if you don't have a bigger picture of how, your social life is,
yeah,
you're going to end up like one of them, one of those four. That's why this movie is ethical, because it's about how do you behave on your life and the life of others. Because a lot of people, oh, Bear is the real villain of this movie because we can't say the word, but because once he realizes that this newer version of Nikki is just a creation of his wish, was this the first thing that he does once he realizes, because the movie also gives like a few 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, they're just dating and he's really believing the fucking shit. But what is the first thing that the movie does once he fully realizes what's going on, that the wish is real? Cuts to him have sex with her. He's not having sex. They're not truly having sex, because
right.
we all agreed as adults that sex to exist depends on one thing called consent.
Yeah,
Everything else,
Nikki isn't there.
no.
Uh,
So
we are told
therefore,
explicitly she is not there.
they're not having sex. He's actually doing something to someone else's blood to not let YouTube watch.
Yes, yeah.
And I love it.
I
Oh
guess,
my
I
god,
guess. Yeah.
that's
I don't
really.
even know. In his mind, though, is. But yeah, I guess that's another thing you could say. So sure, yeah, okay.
So oh my
In
god,
his mind, that was Nikki. He did like
no,
weird.
no, 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 no. The movie
I
makes
think.
it very clear. The movie is actually very organized. There is basically the prologue,
Mhm.
this everything from the exciting incident of this movie.
Yep.
Then the wish happens.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't automatically think it's a wish. He might think the camera does cut of him looking back on his car, like on the car scene, and looking at the wish, and like, is this going on? But because the movie works on a naturalistic point of view, which means like trying to be real, like what we call realism is in truth naturalism,
Right.
trying to reproduce and replicate the real world. The movie, that's why the movie is not moralist. Like, obvious, anyone that does this with a fucking toy or something will never think on their life instantly that thing was real, that it really granted a wish. So there is a point of this movie that he does believe that that's truly Nikki. And then you have the montage of them dating and watching stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's ironically romantic.
Mm-hmm.
You know that this is parodying love like romantic
Yeah.
montage of rom-coms.
I
And
always
then
think
there's the
back to the
diner
Naked Gun.
scene.
Sure.
And then there is the dining scene where he gets the phone call that her from his friend that her dad was never truly sick. And then he basically realizes that his wish was true, and whatever that person is, it's not the real Nick. It's his wishing taking form. By the way, that's one of the things that the movie tries to make it very clear. She's not possessed. It's not like a new spirit came and possessed her body. No, a new personality.
Yeah. That's a demon and not a person.
Yeah, a new personality.
The only
Was
thing I'll say the and that's just the only thing that I felt disturbing about this entire movie was when he calls the 1-800 number to complain.
yeah, the customer service.
Yeah, and I read that the guy who was the writer director of the movie, he's the guy in the customer
Yeah,
service there.
he's the guy on the customer.
It's like, oh yeah, no, she's here. She's here with me. And then you just hear the most blood curdling screams and stuff like that. That was when I went, ooh. That was the most disturbing part for me in the entire movie.
So from that dining scene where he gets the phone call and realizes from that forward, that's when the movie it becomes about ethics.
Yeah, he should not have mentioned that he was hoping to be a food critic. For God's sakes, it's the worst thing he could have ever done.
Because at this point, yes, he does become the R word. He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you didn't get the message by then you have the phone call scene, and and the thing is, the only thing that he doesn't want the wish to go away. He just want the wish to be altered. That's his whole point. It's just don't want the creepy, obsessed stuff.
Yeah.
And then if you even didn't get it yet, when the real Nick is able to talk to the body, well, the fake Nick,
that was a good. I like that scene.
He's like, he's more offended than anything. She's begging for her life. She's begging for him to
not begging for her life.
No, begging for this to end.
Yeah, she was begging for her death. She was begging for her death. It's the exact opposite.
And his response is, "Why is it so bad? Why is
you think being in love with me is so bad? It's like I'm not in love with you."
So
craziness.
I mean, we don't need to go point by point on the movie, but in the end, what is the true cautionary part of this movie is not about necessarily about the problems of the title of being obsessed. Yes.
Right.
I think everybody with 2 neurons should know that you shouldn't be obsessed about people.
Yeah.
But what causes the obsession? And what causes the behavior after he learns about the wish is resentment. The true cautionary part of this movie, that's why I love this movie so much, is that you, whatever you are, whatever gender you have, whatever age you have, should be careful about resentment. Because this dude resents that he can't get a girl, even though there's literally a friend of his that is into him.
And possibly Nikki. There's also possibly
there is the ambient possibility of Nikki.
Yeah.
But what drives him is that on his mind he's already rejected. What drives him to do the wish, what drives him to keep the wish, what drives him to try to hold that crazy life together is because he's resentful of her not wanting to be with him. That he'll never get her. And he resents her. And then he takes control, not of her, but of her body, basically. You within this entity. But he doesn't have true control. And that's the thing. That's his problem. That whatever the entity that was born within Nick is, he can't control her. That's why at the end of the day, the only thing that left for him to do is to kill himself. That's the last resort that he has to control. And even then, by the very end of the movie, I hope you caught that when you watch, he doesn't do it. He swallows the pills, and then he's about to throw up because he can't do it. He can't bring himself to do it. But then she makes the freak Nikki. She does the wish, and then he gets like that. But then he dies because he swallowed the pills.
Yeah,
that's the reason why the movie works so much. It uses everything about horror that we understand, the cautionary tale, the showing the discussing things about humanity, but puts in a trivial space. Everything this is very relatable, is very real. It does exist in the real world. Exaggerated is it? Exaggerates it with supernatural elements just to make it more fun. The movie would be extremely more disturbing if there was no wish. But then it would make a lot of sense. But then it would make it needed to justify the freaking Nikki character.
So the only one thing I wanted though was something to justify why he was supposed to be feeling so much toward her. Like I think it would have worked a little better for
And
me if they had broken up, if they had recently broken up, but were still friends, and he still had a thing
I
for her.
think, but that's so I that once again the mastery of working with ambiguity,
Yeah,
because the movie doesn't establish if he was in love with her for a long time since childhood, like in the beginning of the movie, or just recently when you look at his computer.
yeah.
Maybe he's not really
I don't.
like he's maybe
I
he's
think
just
yeah,
hoping, because one of the things that the movie makes very clear that this apartment was his grandma. Apparently, he's a
yeah.
kid that was raised by his grandma. Now he loses his grandma. Now he just lost his cat. He doesn't have a lot
Inherent.
of
Yeah.
friends. His obsession for this girl is just a byproduct of his loneliness.
Yes.
Like
He's just maybe
he could have
maybe he used too
changed.
strong. He used too strong a word when he was making that wish. Maybe she really,
And the
really
movies
likes
make
me
very
for like
clear
a day or two.
before
That would have been
freaking he kills the other friend, the girl. Like he was about to
By the
shoot.
way, when I mentioned before, I usually need something from horror to make me laugh, for me to enjoy it. I mean, I don't know why it made me laugh so much. Maybe it's just how many times, head strikes a block in front of a driving steering wheel. But yes,
I
eventually I
explain
started
you
laughing
why.
about that.
Grotesque is not just the realm of the disgusting; it's the realm
Yeah,
of the
parody.
of the comedy.
Yeah,
That's why a lot of people, myself included, laugh at horror movies, and that's why, by the way, that's why horror movies have to be very careful with comedy, because if you're too funny, you can destroy a horror movie because the laugh, the line is like destroys tension.
sure.
The worst thing that you want is trying to make somebody unsettled or scared, and then you make them laugh. Ooh, a ghost, and then the ghost strips. It's fucking insane.
Fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
It's always great. We're
So do
like,
you understand? So this is the philosophical, aesthetical reason why this movie works.
sure.
Even though I do understand that there are some things you don't like it, I would argue that a lot of those things are purposeful. And that's the thing that I think it's very, very amazing about this movie. How simple it is.
I
It's
would also
extremely
have to
simple.
put myself in the position of a 20-year-old kid or a 22-year-old kid. And, I'm only 29, but still, those 7 years are quite a bit.
You're so funny. You had technical problems, let's say like that.
Yes, technical people problems.
Yeah, technical people problems.
Mm-hmm. Cute. I wish I had something, just to. I just.
Like, it is amazing how much this movie was able to cram in. Like, it is really a lesson of you don't need big ideas. You don't need. It's something that I think Tony Gilroy said. And as sometimes myself, I am have this problem. Like sometimes you think too much on the big picture, on
Mm-hmm.
the big, the complexity, and you try to trim it down to something simple. But a lot of times, what works is you work with simple concepts, with simple ideas, and then you build up from that.
Right.
So from basically a distorted love story, you can reach highs from a very simple premise. Which I think it brings up the second aspect why this movie work is it is minimalism showing its
Do you think it's more relatable? Like people can relate to this kind of thing? Just having someone in your
I
life like
watched
that?
a lot of reviews of people said, "Oh my god, when I was younger, I was kind of like this guy, but I grew up. I
Yeah.
you know that once again that's part of the cautionary part of it. Like a lot of guys, sometimes very well intended, are like Bear, but instead of doing what every person does. And once again, I'm using guys, but it applies to anyone. Goes to at some point as you grow up, and that can happen earlier in teenage years. That can happen a little bit later in more of the young adult segment of your life. But at some point, you should be able to go through the social hurdles. Like at some point, like a lot of people, like when you're very young and being rejected by somebody you're into, it's terrifying. It's the worst thing. Is your life is over. But when you reach a certain age, that's the most ridiculous thing that you don't fucking care about. You know, there is a evolution. There is a learning curve,
Yeah.
a social learning curve that everybody goes into. Yeah, I mean, as we relate to age, but it can happen within a time frame. Like the problem is when don't happen in a time frame. When you see people, they're like they're already reaching the peak of adult life. Like after this, you're gonna become a senior motherfucker, and you're still dealing with challenges that you should have overcome on the youth. So you have to overcome, and the only way you can overcome is by being practical, is by being proactive, is by not being afraid of rejection, by not being afraid of loving yourself. Like if you love yourself, you're not gonna be obsessed by somebody else. You're not gonna waste time with that. And once again, that's the cautionary part. If you don't go to the hurt, if you don't go to the challenge in your young life, yeah, then you can argue about the incel territory or the entitlement territory. Even though
Sure. Yes.
the
100%.
entitlement exists even like we talked about it, I think on the Spider-Man trail, like the entitlement exists even beyond just like love and relationships. It exists with culture. Like we are part of fandoms that are extremely entitled.
Yeah.
They're entitled and extremely consumist. Like they like it's always about like buying new stuff and being part of that culture of just buying and blah 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 and money and wanting movies and things to be just the way that I want. And if I don't want
Yes.
it, it is.
I deserve to have everything I had when, or that I thought of when I was playing with my little action figures as a kid.
And if it's not one, it's because it's trash or it's because it's woke and blah 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 blah. Never tackles the problem with true divinity. So like that's the second reason. Like this movie is very minimal. It is not trying to do much. It doesn't have the money. It doesn't have the budget to do much.
$750,000. 750,000 today is crazy to make a
And
movie and sell it for 15 million just to get it to the distributor. And yeah, insane. And the money it's made ever since. It's just crazy insane. It's insane stuff.
it is a masterclass on minimalism. Like
Mm.
think relative like a small one code, but try to be very precise and very effective with the small things that you're trying to do. And if you do that, that you can reach the crazy right. Because at the end of the day, the script of this movie is extremely conservative, is extremely minimal.
Yes.
Not a lot of characters, not a lot of locations, not a lot of plots, not even a
There's
technically not that many scenes. The runtime of this movie is
say
like that.
if there's even a B plot to it, it would have to be what's her name, if she's going to get into a college. That would be the only other thing, right?
Which is just something just to add to the tragedy by the end of the movie.
Yeah. The tragedy
And
that I laughed almost uncontrollably about
so,
for a good 2 minutes.
first reason why this movie is good is because how it tries to subvert the moralism within horror movies to go to something beyond about ethics, about life, about how you treat the lives of other people. Because he screwed everybody's life. He screwed his own life and everybody.
Yeah, even a selfish buddy's life, sure.
Yeah. The second is the work towards minimalism in an age where everything takes so much money to be made, and because it takes so much money, nobody tries to risk, nobody tries to innovate. We are confined within pre-established franchises that some do better work than others, but the grand majority is regurgitating the same thing. You
It
know,
doesn't look like it's only 750,000 though, right? It looks like it's done pretty well.
and now,
If you didn't bring it up to me before, like this is a guy who just did this on a shoestring budget, I would never have thought it.
and that comes to the third part. Why is this movie such success? Because in this age of AI and overworked or fire visual effects artists basically doing AI at this point, because the craftsmanship of visual effects has gone so the quality has gone so bad because people are not getting overworked and not very well paid in this age of everybody has machines now that write for them, and they're not curious and they're not trying new things. In this age of movie theaters are dying, because movies themselves are not gonna die. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. The same thing that I heard when I was a kid, and probably you also heard when you were a kid, that radios was dying, that people are gonna stop listening to radio because of whatever. First was the TV, then was the internet, then was the iPod, blah
Do
blah
you think I
blah.
was do you think I was around before television was, Dan?
No, but but when you were a kid, I think you probably heard as your kid that radio was a dying medium.
Radio, well, because of MTV for sure. Yes.
Yeah. And radio still exists, just now we call a fucking podcast, and we are one of them. Basically, it is still radio. It's a different format. It's a different.
And we're not doing traffic on the nines.
We're not doing
You know,
traffic and the nines, but it still is the same aesthetic.
sure. Yep. By the
So
way, local
movies are not
traffic.
dying. Going to traffic now.
Yeah. We're gonna go into the buzzcopter with
But
Captain Mike
movies are not
high
dying.
above the streets of Winnipeg.
But the movie theater experience is done.
Yep.
We can argue on this. That is maybe to not be such like doom saying it is in a very huge crisis.
Yep.
Because it is expensive. People's habits are extremely more individualistic. People don't like being with other people. People's viewing habits is deteriorating. There are people that nowadays are incapable of not looking at their phone for more than 5 minutes. But I'm less than that. A lot of people are not nowadays are not capable to watching a movie or a TV show without
What? Sorry.
being on their phone.
Classic.
Netflix is telling the screenwriters to write dumb dialogue because everybody's watching Netflix as a second screen.
Yeah.
The movie theaters themselves are getting extremely expensive. The food is not that good.
Don't
And
you
the
ever.
movie.
My favorite thing in the world is movie theater popcorn. It will never change.
Yeah. Anyway.
If I had,
I
if
don't
I-
mind it.
when they finally catch up to me, and they put
And the
them on
movies
death row,
themselves.
it's movie popcorn for the final meal.
And the movies themselves, and this is a problem with the industry because it has an industry logic, are not that good.
Yeah.
Okay, Nolan fans. Oh my god, The Odyssey. You have to watch in IMAX 700 million. Maybe, like, I'm not disagreeing. Like, if Nolan filmed that movie could be watched that way, it is the way that the movie should be experienced. But, like, how many of these movie theaters are there? There are plenty of states here in the US that don't have one single IMAX 7 millimeter, like, movie theater.
Right.
And Odyssey, which I don't know if it's good, and I'm not the hugest Nolan fan either. It's just one movie.
Yeah.
Do you think that like, let's be real, like,
You
if
can't
you are
call
not
it
a
rich.
Marvel fan,
You can't call one of the oldest traditional stories in the world one that's attributed to a guy who didn't write it. It's basically a bunch of poems that have been passed down for centuries even before it became written down. So yeah, the most unoriginal movie of all time is The
okay,
Odyssey. But
okay. No, no, I didn't watch the movie, so I'm not gonna argue on
it
that.
probably looks great, and it's probably really good.
And I haven't
I'm
read
not going to say
the
there's anything.
poem, and I haven't read the
Yeah,
poem.
you've known about parts of it though.
I mean,
Everyone knows about like the
kind of have to, you know.
Trojan horse, the sirens, the Cyclops. So yeah, you got it.
But at the end of the day, like, let's be real, like the Hollywood creates shit ton of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
If you are really critical, like, let's be self-critical a little bit. Like, no, the Mandalorian is not worth the trouble.
It's not worth the
Most
trouble. Is that what you're saying?
of going to the movie theaters and
I
viewing.
liked going to the theater to watch it. I
I
really
like,
did.
but I'm telling what is going on that
Of course, it
it,
cost me 20 something Canadian dollars. I
yes.
didn't take. Well, I went with my wife. I had to pay for her,
Look.
of course, but I
We
didn't bring any
didn't.
kids.
Yeah, we didn't have to pay that much.
Right.
It's not just like a commercial financial problem. Like a lot of people just focus on that, and that's not what I'm trying to
I think
say.
it's a big deal. It's
I'm
actually
trying to say that
reasonable.
like one thing is going to the movies and watch obsession. That is a true artistic cinematic experience.
Okay.
Marvel doesn't pull out most of the time that kind of experience. Star Wars is not able to.
No.
Most movies doesn't meet the criteria. Movies that had cost so much money, such much more money in marketing, with crews that have one of the best, like especially more on the production side, the best people in the business, the highest paid people in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Those movies cannot are losing the same way that Microsoft was losing to Doom in '95 to a goddamn 750,000 budget movie.
We brought it back, buddy. We
Yes.
brought it all the way back. Congratulations.
And
You
that's
did
the
it.
and that's the part of horror movies. Only because horror movies don't get a huge budgets. It's very difficult to get a huge budget movie unless you're fucking Jordan Peele now or Ryan Coogler.
Sure.
Horror movies they always have, and this is always the ace against all the other types of movies. They are always the ones that remind us why a movie theater experience should exist. Why you have to be in a big room with loud sound and a huge screen of a bunch of strangers. And why that experience is better than watching on your phone and watching on your TV, watching on your computer, whatever. Unless
Do
you're
you think
very rich and
do you
have like
think the sound from Obsession is something that
yeah,
you like
I
to a
watching the
movie theater?
movies.
Yeah.
The most unsettling part for me on this movie is that she's taking a shower or he's in the bathroom, like, and she
Yeah.
banging on the door.
Yeah.
That fucking shit, like, it's not being about being scared or like, jump scares. It's about Jesus Christ, and it's such a trivial. The fucking once again go back to triviality and
Yep.
everything's so common real.
Yeah. Time to
Everybody
minimalize.
has heard.
Minimalize. Yeah. What else?
Everybody has heard somebody banging on a door 100 million times.
Yeah.
In movies and TV shows in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But the simplest thing, what the fuck is that? The sound of the movie is incredible. The sound design of the movie is incredible. The soundtrack is good too. Like I like the soundtrack. It's not like mind blowing, but it does a good job. Like everything on that movie once again, art is about craft. Yes, the movies as well as video games there are they require more people, like, and that's the part that you put in your bingo card. Me as a filmmaker, I have done the experiment of doing a movie myself, but
Mhm.
even most of the movie being mine, I still had somewhat of. I didn't have a crew, but I did have help. Like, it is a collaborative effort,
Sure.
but it still is about a craft. At the end of the day, yes, the budget does help. It does. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say that, like, unless you're Danny Boyle, you're not gonna do a good movie with an iPhone. And Danny
Right.
Boyle used like what 18 of them to do it for like the new zombie movie. I haven't much
Mhm.
yet. And so I don't have more. I don't have money for 28, 30 iPhones. I still
Yep.
think that a movie camera, which is goddamn expensive to either buy or most of the cases rent,
Rent.
it is still a better image than a goddamn iPhone.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, it's not about the budget. It's not about these goddamn actors and actresses are celebrities or not. The acting of this actress that did Nikki.
Indy Navarette, is that what her name is? I think so.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
INDE. I just don't know if it's Indy or Ind or whatever it's supposed to how you
Is
pronounce
one of the best
Navarette
acting.
though. Yeah.
Is one of the best acting I ever seen in 10 years.
Okay.
She's good doing the normal stuff, and she's good at doing the exaggerated stuff. I haven't seen an acting I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen an acting so good like this since maybe when I watched Let the Right One In, because what made me Let the Right One In so amazed, like those fucking kids were able to act extremely well. It wasn't like you that hate kid acting.
I was gonna say you're you're talking to someone who famously hates
Famous.
child acting.
But Let the Right One In does not have that.
Yeah, it's good.
It is good.
Yeah.
It's way above average. Like, even if it's trying to be
Yep.
better, it's way above.
I like to point it out when it's actually done well, and I think I have done a few times. But
Like,
yeah,
what was the
this one.
last time you saw acting like this? Like, this actress gave to Obsession. What was the last time that was like so good?
Yeah, I can't. Well, off the top of my head, I'd never be able to think of anything.
It's
But
been a while. It's been a while that
yeah,
we don't have this. And once again, man, this movie only costs $750. That's for Hollywood. That's for a goddamn movie studio. That's fucking a tax, like that's like tax money. There's like a
yeah,
change money. There's like money
that's
they
cater.
spend on
That's catering for
That's
a week.
catering for a week.
$750,000 catering bill for a week is
That's just like that's
pretty
like
exuberant.
what? Not
What a
even
burrito you can
ten
get for
percent,
seven hundred
maybe
fifty
ten
thousand
percent of
bucks.
Robert Downey Jr. is getting as Doctor
Yeah,
Doom.
yeah. Oh,
It's
um,
not like
way
ten
more.
percent.
That would mean he's only making 7.5. He's making far more.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
so. It is good. Like, it's good that horror once again show us the importance of the art form of the medium. I told you, I know you couldn't, but this movie is great on the movie theater.
yeah.
It doesn't need to have the fucking 7 millimeter IMAX 430 aspect ratio. Sometimes it doesn't need all this fucking
Yeah, I
fluff
didn't know,
that
and I didn't know what I was
filmmakers,
getting into.
myself included, have.
When when I sat down to watch this, I figured I'd be doing it in maybe 20-minute parts because it's supposed to. I was thinking, oh, like everyone's talking about, it's like the scariest movie or whatever, and it's like I think I mixed up scary and horror. It's like, yeah,
No,
it's
not
like it's
all
not
horror
very
movies.
scary. It's not very scary. It has its parts or whatever that's are very unsettling, but
It is.
just to say scary,
Scary is not the. When once again, horror movies doesn't need to be scary.
yeah,
They have to be unsettling because it's in the realm of grotesque. But like, even though there is gore on this movie, it's not like Saw. Like you can have a horror movie
There's
about
yeah.
the
Really
only
the
thing. The
yeah.
only thing that horror movies kind of need, because that is the realm where horror movies live, is violence. You have
Yeah.
to have some sort of violence being the and like naturalistic violence. So not like, so it's not like you could argue that Captain America and Thanos they're fighting therefore it's violent, but then it's not that fun desynthesized violence that doesn't mean
Well,
anything. It's a
I think
violence that's trying
I
to.
think back, like you think of how violent was a Rosemary's Baby. Like that's considered a horror movie classic. There's zero violence, if I remember right off the top of my head.
But not necessarily like graphical violence, but
Also, that
somewhat.
was 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost 60 years
But
ago.
also, I mean, violence in more broad terms doesn't need to necessarily mean like graphical shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's very difficult for horror to not work with some like because there are level of violence in obsession for sure, but it's very. I mean, I was way more unsettled with the SA scene,
Yeah,
the
that's not
design
good.
scene,
That was not good.
than the on the. I mean, I actually know because I missed that part. I was in the bathroom.
You missed it?
I missed that.
My favorite part of the whole movie.
I missed it. I saw afterward. I think I saw a clip afterwards.
My favorite part is just how long it goes. It's like, it's like, oh, that's what started making me like. It was like a couple of times, and then when I finally noticed, like, it wasn't the steering wheel; it was this block that she put in front of the steering wheel to do it. Fantastic stuff, and just the motion of her going. That's something that's been going on with the horror genre and stuff for a while too. Just the way they use bodies to move and stuff like that. Like I've talked to you about one of my favorite shows that came out a bunch of years ago was uh, uh, We Are All Dead or whatever that Korean zombie high school thing. Just the way they moved and stuff like that was the creepiest part about the entire thing.
Those are very simple, forgotten camera tricks. The whole
Yeah,
like the way that back and forth. Like we can deep.
like
Like we
her
can
what
break
like when she
down.
was like, I just want to watch you sleep. And then you see her scurrying or whatever real quick into back into the shadows and stuff like that. It's like
And the way
that's
her
almost like
face looks on the shadow because the camera is
yeah,
trying to work
yeah.
that kind of lack of light.
All
Like
that stuff
we
was really good.
couldn't go crazy on all the fine details, the fine filmmaking details of this movie. But the bottom line is,
Yeah.
especially for someone that is getting sick of corporate entertainment,
Ooh, okay.
like I have been
Mhm.
lately. Even though, yes, I do consume, I'm still a fan. Yes, I'm gonna watch Spider Man very, very soon. I'm always gonna watch Star Wars.
Sure.
Doom operates a little bit. Doom doesn't have like that mass production, so I don't put necessarily
They've
on
got
that. But
one fantastic movie I've never seen, and I imagine it's just terrific, though.
we don't talk about that. Even though, like, a lot of people do like the one scene of the movie. That, I don't
Never seen it. Never seen it. No spoilers. No spoilers, Danny.
know. The fact is that within all this crap and all this noise and goddamn AI on YouTube and social media and everything, and the same fucking Call of Duty game that they've been doing for the last 10 years. But like 2017, like what was like Black Ops 3? Black
Can't
Ops
remember that
3?
far back, dang. I was shocked. I was shocked when they were telling me like Black Ops 1 was like 2012. I'm like, what? It feels like it was way, way before that. So,
Most I haven't. So within all this goddamn noise,
yep.
we get something that is so good and shows why we fall in love with this in the first place. I think that's how I want to end the episode.
Sure.
That we need video games, we need movies, we need books, we need music
Mm-hmm.
that reminds us why we fall in love with those art forms.
Yeah, music's
Doesn't have
the toughest one to get. But
music is one of the toughest ones to get.
yeah,
Especially from like a band or musician that you're being a fan of your whole life, but they haven't done something good in like 20 years or something.
that happens.
Like
That
I'll be one of the first ones to say, man. Like it's being a while. Like I like the newer stuff, but Trent Hazard, man, being alive since fucking banger came out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like is doing good, it's gaining Oscars and everything. It's fucking just fucking.
Yep.
It's good, man. We need this. We need more of this in our lives. More stuff. So kudos to this dude. Make
But
the
this
most
is
money he can do it.
yeah, make more. Like make $1 billion. Who cares? Like do it. Just don't do another
Hopefully,
obsession. Don't do the same movie again. Don't let it happen again.
he said that they had an idea of a TV show that happens in the universe of Obsession.
All right.
I don't know about that, but like
We're gonna
he
get
can-
Blair
he can
Witch
do-
2. We're getting Blair Witch 2.
he can like dude has talent, just know how to do this talent. You should watch Long, by the way.
Yeah.
I follow
Well,
this shit.
Uh,
Can watch on YouTube. I think Markiplier put it on YouTube. Like, you just have to be like,
okay. Well, remind me about that. I do want to see Back Rooms. Now that was like, that's the kind of like, and I was talking to you before. Is that like Cube? And you're like, yeah. It's like, oh, all right. I can watch that. Yeah. So Back Rooms is the one that I want to really watch. Maybe we'll talk about some back. I've been watching a lot of movies lately. We'll get into it some other time.
yeah, but
But I haven't watched movies in a long time, and now I've just got into a thing where I want to watch movies. So there you go.
Ireland was very good too. It was
Ireland.
video game.
Yeah.
It's also something good. Like how good it is to have a game.
Would it be better than like the Silent Hill
Yeah.
movies?
Like maybe you can have an argument that like I didn't watch the show. That like Last of Us is a better game adaptation. But
What are you gonna do? Like The Last of Us, the video game's an all-time classic, and I think they do a good job. And I think they do a fantastic job just by putting "Never Let Me Down Again" by Depeche Mode in it. And the first
I would argue that like games that are trying to be movies like Last of Us and the new God of War are easy to turn into fucking movies because they're basically that's what they're already is.
Yeah.
They're just glorified.
you play the game for the story. It's not you don't there isn't a story revolving on the game. That's something we can talk about at length at other times. Yeah, and we didn't talk about any of the Comic-Con stuff. There's been some great trailers. We'll get into that. I just like in my head, I go to the one.
Hey, a little bit of more, substance to this goddamn channel. A little bit of more in depth.
This was it was great talking about Obsession. I'm glad I watched it. Yeah, I did like it. I know you absolutely loved it. But I liked it.
Yeah. Next episode, we come back for our usual nerd shit. This was the. Hey, let's talk about.
This is a little, amuse bouche, something to clear the palate. You get a little heavy into the nerd
the
shit.
Burger King and McDonald's.
Yes, we are going to get a highly processed entertainment into us. Our heart rate is going to be going up steadily, and my doctor is going to put a stint in my heart. If we keep it up, that's what we're all about right here on the Snarkest Hour. Once again, it's like the Snarkest Hour plus times 2. We'll go times 2 on the Snarkest
2 hours.
Pretty close.
2 hours.
Pretty close. We've done it again. The Snarkest 2 hours just doesn't roll off the tongue. Danny, thanks again. Fantastic talking about Obsession. Can't wait to talk some more. We're gonna have to get into some of these other movies. Maybe that's something we'll have to do. Rob can go explore these horror-ish movies that he has just said no to forever that you're a fan of.
The
Talk
last
more about these kind of
100
stuff.
years we've been alive.
100, you monster. You are an absolute monster. Guys, thank you all for watching Snarky Hour. We'll be back again to regale you, with our thoughts. See you again.